Hey, apologies for running a few minutes behind today. D obviously had to get our cookie. Courtney had to pour up a drink, and I had to erase Bodak Yellow from my mind forever. But we are here.
You see how he
Um,
blamed the women for being late?
Exactly.
Blame the
how
black woman first, blame the white woman second, and then took responsibility. Actually, he didn't even take responsibility
you
for
you
the
are you are you are you are
We
far
can't
too
go uninterrupted, D.
We
you
cannot be
are far
uninterrupted
too
for it.
woke right
Never.
now. Far too woke. I'm gonna have to get AJ on here to balance things out. But thanks for joining us. Once again, I have Courtney with me. I have D. We have we have a lot to talk about.
First,
Before
first, my
go,
mom watched the whole verses since we had to watch this, and she said that Patty won. So I need people to confirm or deny.
Oh, yeah, let us know. I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna do the rewatch tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and if you're watching, obviously you had to make a hard choice between the verses and Lovecraft. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for resisting. Well, I won't say resisting. I know it's a tough choice choosing between Patty and Gladys and us, but we're glad you're here with us. Um, so yeah, before we get into anything, I want to say if you're watching, as always, toss out your comments. We'll put them up on the screen. Toss out your theories. We have a lot to talk about. Some theories are confirmed, but I think there's some more we need to talk about. So D, as usual, give us our recap of last week's episode.
All right. Last week's episode was called A History of Violence. Montrose wrestled with his demons and burned the book meant to help Atticus, saying that it smelled like Tulsa. Christina wants an orrery that she thinks is in Leti's house, but we find out Hippolyta actually has it. Leti convinces Atticus to let Montrose help him, then guilts Montrose into actually helping. I say guilt, but I don't mean that in a negative way. She did what needed to be done. Um, Foolish and Crazy go to Boston together, and Montrose, D, Hippolyta, and the biggest hater alive joins them. Tree plants a seed in Tick's mind about Montrose's sexuality. Ruby has demon sex. Our trio, Montrose, Leti, and Atticus, find the scroll and bring Yahima back with them. Hippolyta and Dee go on a quest of their own. William makes Ruby an enticing offer, and Montrose performs what he means to be a coup de grace and viciously murders Yahima.
Coup de grace.
Get them
So
out.
we just break it out the big words. Okay.
Bring them out.
So once again, before we get into this episode, we asked our followers a few questions earlier, and I'm going to reveal the results of the polls. Very interesting. The first question we asked, William and Christina, same person or different people? 73% of the polls went of the poll results went towards the same person. So congrats to you. 27% said they were different people. You are all wrong. You can try again next week.
Whatever.
The next question I asked, and this is something we definitely have to get into. I asked whether or not Montrose was trying to keep Atticus safe, or is he intentionally trying to throw off the mission, excuse me, under the influence of some evil entity. Sorry, AJ comment just threw me off. 43% of you said Montrose is trying to keep Atticus safe. 57% of you said he's working for someone. And then we asked one final question, and this was like unanimous. Who is Atticus' father? Everyone said, of course, is our Tio Jorge, Uncle George.
Uncle Daddy George.
We don't have that answer yet, but I honestly feel like we have confirmed answers for the first two. Definitely the first question, and I feel like we could talk about the second one. But yeah, no surprise. William and Christina are the same person, kind of like we have been thinking about the entire time. So no surprise there.
I feel like I need to go put my shirt on. I feel like I'm out of uniform.
Right?
I was not surprised, especially after we saw how Ruby was transformed into a white woman, that Christina and William are the same. The theory made good sense. The whole they haven't been seen together part of it made sense. All of the reasons why they would be the same person was all laid out. I was just hoping that it was something else, just because I hate when people figure out stuff early, and I hope that there's a twist. But it's okay that it is what it is, because that's how they wrote it. I would rather them write it and it becomes what people think than them try to throw something in at the end that doesn't make sense to make it like we were just chasing, something that wasn't there. So I'm okay with it. It makes sense. I'm wondering though, what she's gonna do with it. I guess what she's doing, what she's gonna do with it. She's just flip flopping.
I don't think that's the big twist. I personally have been in the boat that I think they've been making it obvious on purpose. I think it's on purpose.
Yeah, and one of our most recent followers, he actually followed after listening to the show last week. So shout out to, let me make sure I get this right. Shout out to Bean Pride Brother. Very interesting name. But no, he pointed out that there has been a huge tale the entire time with William and Christina, the scarf. William and Christina both had the sometimes he's boy, sometimes he's friend. But yeah, so they will both have the the ascot or the cravat, whatever you want to call it. It's not quite a scarf, but they would both have it on. Yeah. So they would both have it on. So that was the huge tale. So shout out.
What was that word again?
Ascot.
No, before ascot. What was that?
It's a cravat.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard it correctly. Learn me something.
Yeah.
Can we block AJ?
We're gonna have to block AJ. Cravat. Thank you, Helen. Cravat. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not making this up. Yes. It's a man of style. But yeah. Before we go any further, initial reactions about this episode. Court, you go first.
There's a lot happening. I think it was like 75% of the way. I was like, I'm almost in a different way than the previous episodes, overwhelmed by what's going on. I really liked the story. It was different. It wasn't scary in any other way other than it being like disturbing. Physically, just like the whole metamorphosis process was just a lot to see. And I guess we kind of predicted that this would happen with Ruby this episode, but I don't know. I thought very interested in what was happening. One of my favorite parts I really got excited about is that they highlighted the drag scene in Chicago, which is one of my favorite things, and I live there. I got really excited by that, and that basically George, we know about Montrose now. So, and I'm wondering if that signifies that he's gonna be out, because they're like the bigger thing. Oh, he didn't kiss his boyfriend on the mouth, so, and then he did publicly.
Yeah, I was wondering because it seems as if Sammy's out, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Because it seemed I would think he is, being that he was behind the bar the first episode, getting his knob slobbed on. So I mean, it's a thing. So, but I didn't know if it was like if it was just open. It was kind of like the people that know, like if you know type of thing. So I don't know. Ignore AJ.
Ignore AJ.
So it still felt good to me to see him actually be able to be himself, because it's very clear that he hasn't been able to be himself his whole life. Like he was literally beat out of him as a child, and being able to, it's almost like it happened again, because Atticus beat it out of him the second time, but more so beat the other part out instead of just being, who he is. So I'm happy for him, I guess.
I think that maybe why he was the way he was, maybe that he felt he always distanced himself because he never feel like he could be who he truly was and couldn't be accepted. So maybe that's why he was such a terrible father and just an angry, abusive person. Not to excuse it, but I think that may be why.
Yeah, and I actually think it was AJ who pointed this out on our recap of The Boys, which while were we talking about Lovecraft Country while recapping The Boys, but yeah, AJ mentioned in the first episode how quick change. But yeah, AJ was talking about how Montrose was talking about watching the Negro League baseball players again, being about that as a kid. So yeah, I think that's why he couldn't have a good relationship with Atticus because the way his father treated him. So he couldn't. I mean, he didn't know how to show love. That was the only way he was showing love. But yeah, in general, I will say this about this episode in general. Sometimes this is like the pitfall of like doing these recounts, because when you do figure something out, like the episode is I won't even say it was like underwhelming, but you're just like, oh, okay, that was the episode. So yeah, that's the bad part about the revelations coming true when we're watching shows like this. Is like, yeah, okay, we got that right. So we'll move on to the next.
Before we do, I was gonna say, you brought up a good point about him as far as showing love, because if his idea of love is one way, and if he feels romantically, connected to men, and people are telling him that's wrong, it seems like he felt like any love for any man at all is bad, and that's why he couldn't love Atticus the way he was supposed to, because he's still a boy. You know what I mean? And I don't know what his relationship was with George, but it kind of seemed like it was, like, I mean, you're my brother and I'm your brother, and that's it. Not really a familial, like, I love you, because he was afraid of what that meant.
I think that's a theme with a lot of like just men in general, like straight men too, because I remember hearing, because my great grandfather was abusive towards my grandfather. And my grandfather wasn't abusive, but at first he was like from what I've heard my dad, he was very cold towards my dad, because he was raised in a way that's like, you're stern and you're cold and you don't do that. So I think that's with that generation, especially, I'm not surprised to see that because of homophobia. And it's like, you can be straight, and if a homophobia still affects you.
Yeah. So, I think I want to ask this. Do we think George knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think if he didn't know for sure, he always had an indication. You know what I mean? Like for me, I have a really good friend that's gay. He's out now, and we were friends, long before he came out. So people always were like, "Oh, he's gay. He's gay. He's definitely gay. He's gay. He's gay." And I was like, until he tells me he's gay, I have no idea whether he's gay or not. So it's no surprise when he came out, but I had no desire to find out, to confirm whether he was gay or not, because I didn't care. And I think that might be the same situation with George. Like, he might be gay, but he's not telling me he is. It's probably best with this time and with the stigma that comes with it, that he doesn't confirm that he's gay. But so I don't have to find out either way. It's probably
more of like a not my business type of thing.
It's like a plausible deniability type thing. Like, if he never told me he was gay, then I didn't know. Even though it's his brother, he probably knew.
I mean, for obvious reasons, I think George knew, because once again, Uncle George is the father of Atticus. So I guess like our biggest mystery now is, how did Montrose end up being the father figure of Atticus when clearly Uncle George was double timing. I guess
maybe maybe it was the deal. Like, she's the beard.
Yeah. My thoughts, like, maybe
she's the beard. Now I don't know where Hippolyta comes in, unless Uncle George was just kind of grimy, and they allowed it. Like, I have no idea where that happens, because it seemed that he does love her, or he passed, but he did love her. So maybe it was a childhood thing. Maybe it was like they grew up together and all of these things happened, and then because Diana's so much younger than Atticus, they don't clash in any way. So I don't know.
Yeah, my take is that I think it's like a one that got away situation with Atticus' mother, and I'm sorry I keep forgetting her name, but like, you could clearly tell that he loves Hippolyta, and maybe it was a situation where they reconnected once and things happened. But I think Uncle George was already with him. Okay, yeah, that makes sense for me too. I think Uncle George was already with him. Yeah, that's the scenario that would make sense for me. And
then everybody gets to be happy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Montrose gets a cover.
Yeah.
Atticus gets a father that isn't questioned. So, so George can be as active in a father in Atticus's life as possible without Hippolyta having any objections to it, because in her mind it's just her nephew that he loved.
Right. So yeah, let's get into this episode now. Because I actually came into the episode like after the title sequence, and I was like, who's this white woman laying in the bed? And then I was like, oh, that's Ruby. So
Gotta be Ruby.
I had a feeling. I was just like, that's gotta be Ruby.
It's gotta be Ruby.
Yeah. So how do you feel about I guess the way this episode played with how Black women and white women navigate through the world? You two being women with two different perspectives. I just want to hear what you think about that.
Dora, by the way. Tick's mom.
Dora. Yeah, Dora.
Yeah, okay. Dora.
Tammy makes a good point. She says, I think Hippolyta might have a clue because she was very, very, very annoyed with Tick. And it was almost like a your daddy did it this way type thing, especially with the cups. Like him, she's like, he dried the cups that turned down.
Oh, yeah. Because I was thinking why like her reaction was so strong to that. And it wasn't like, oh, he's just taking after Uncle George. It's like he's really taking after Uncle George.
Yeah.
So
and even Leti said it. She said, is that what it is? He reminds you of George. Yeah.
That's
so I mean, I don't know. It could work too, because if they look alike, it's possible because they're brothers.
Yeah.
Because I have a picture of my son and my my brother-in-law when they were little, and I'm like, this is crazy. But genetics work like that. What was the question? I'm sorry, Tammy threw me off. Hey, girl.
I just randomly thought about the Chappelle show when somebody asked him a question and he went on this long tangent. He was like, "I'm sorry, what was the question?" But no, I asked, how did you feel about the way that they explored the theme of like how Black women and white women navigate the world?
Do you want to take this one first, Dee?
I will say, I really, really, really like the fact that they showed both areas of it. Like they not only just showed that how she would be okay as a white woman, they showed race and gender, right? Because initially she was a white woman, so she was going to go untouched in that neighborhood. I mean, they were about to kill this child because she bumped into him, so that was there. But then when she got in the car, they were like, oh, we're taking you back. And she's pleading, no, don't take me back there. And they were like, oh, no, it's fine. He already told us. She's telling you she doesn't want to go. And you're taking his word because he's the man that said, this is law. This is what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter what she says. Bring her back to me. And it just like puts you in that mindset of like how much worse it was for Black women. Like it's terrible for women, and then you got this Black woman. Like there's a white woman in your car and you're not even listening to her. So the Black woman like has no chance in her mind. And Ruby's been shown that over and over and over and over and over again. But there was still, I like the fact that there was a part of her that knew that there are some things that I can get away with a white woman, but there are some things that I don't like about being this white woman. There are behaviors I don't want to have to exhibit. There are conversations I don't want to have. There are things that I'll have to do to fit in that I don't want to do. And it was cool to see, like, it made her appreciate her Blackness while still understanding that there is an advantage of her being this white woman.
All right. So, Court, what about you?
I agree. Like, that was like one of my main things is that when she was in the car with the cops, I was like, this could very well be an abusive situation. And they're turning her right into their trusting. It was like, well, he basically said she was crazy. And they're taking the word for it. And you're right, it'd be a million times worse if it was a Black woman. I really kind of was intrigued with the way that Ruby was treating Tamara. I was not a big fan because I'm like, a lot of that was jealousy. And from the very beginning, I suspected it. I was like, this is a sexual harassment situation because of the way the manager was looking at, Ruby. as the white woman. And even the way that he was looking at Tamara the whole time, I had those suspicions. And I was like, okay, he hired her because he wants to have sex with her. I kind of had those suspicions, and I think it got to the point where Ruby, I feel like Ruby was kind of bullying Tamara as the white woman. Like, I think she kind of was feeding into it, especially when I know it was to kind of get attention off of her, what she just said to Tamara. But I think when she kind of bullied her into like, we're going to the South Side with you, I was like, okay, she's got a little too much dip on her chin here.
Right.
like, especially even though she had just gotten really uncomfortable with the way the white women were talking about Black women and Black people. I feel like she kind of fed into it.
Yeah, and also to add to what you were saying about her, him harassing the Black woman. That's not even about him respecting the white women. It's him respecting the white women's husbands.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with them. He's afraid that if he harasses one of the white women, then they'll go tell their husband and he'll get in trouble. He doesn't care about the women at all. And if the Black woman tells her Black husband, he doesn't care about that, because it's like whatever. It's not like he's doing something to me.
Because while white women are in a vulnerable position, because we're women, Black women are even in even more vulnerable situation. And think about it too. Ruby put her in that situation.
Yeah, she did.
She did, and I kind of hope that she reflects on that, because as soon I don't know, I think that she was jealous of that, especially when she found out the girl hadn't even graduated high school, and that language, because I was so Ruby, I was just like, Ruby, I understand the jealousy, but you've got to think that there's got to be a reason for it, and I think hopefully after she saw him almost rape her, and she gave him the business. I'm hoping that she also saw Tamara's side as well, because I felt really bad for her.
Yeah. I was gonna say about the part with her bullying her. It's one of those things that you see also where you're trying to prepare. Like a lot of people do it with their kids. You try to prepare them for what's going to happen by doing the thing that you're trying to prepare them from. So it's almost like janking, like we crack on each other all the time, especially in the Black community. I don't know, if everybody does it, but I've seen it happen. Little kids get bullied at home all the time, and it's not necessarily physical abuse, but it's definitely verbal and emotional, because they want them prepared for when you go to school, this thing is going to happen. They're going to talk about your mama and keep you from getting suspended or fighting or whatever else. You just need to know what else to say. So it's like practice, but you don't think about the emotional toll it's taken on them having to deal with that at home, plus going to school dealing with it too. So I think that's what Ruby was doing. It was almost like he's trying to show her that you have to be excellent. You have to be, twice as good as these white people if you want to stay here. But there was a better way to do it than what she did.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that she had good intentions, but I also think that
she was totally jealous.
I think she was enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think she got to a point where she was enjoying it, because it gets to the point, and I see a lot of people, like, when they get in a position, you see this a lot with women supervisors too, when you get in a position of power, it's like, hold on, you should know better, and yet now you're doing, I saw that in Ruby too, it's like, now you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
No, you should know better. And I saw that from Ruby too, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, because I was gonna say this to kind of like shift away from the show, but like still stay with it for a little while. I feel like the subtext here is like privilege, because privilege isn't inherently a bad thing. As long as you like acknowledge the privilege, know that it's something you could work within. You could use it for good or you could use it for bad. And we saw two examples here of how Ruby initially tried to use her privilege for good, because I was like, oh, she's gonna look out for Tamara, she's gonna make sure she's okay. But then she started to weaponize her her privilege. And like,
yeah, her whiteness.
yeah. She was like, I'm gonna try being a Karen today. So yes, so exactly. AJ brings up a good point. Yeah, perfect example. But yeah, and she then used the privilege to start punishing Tamara. So I think it shows like both ways that her privilege can be used.
And add to that, it's almost a direct quote, like you said, with what Atticus said about the whole thing with Titus's pages, when Leti was like, "This is inherently evil," and he's like, "No, it's not. It's what we do with it."
Right.
So like there are examples of it all over the episode.
That's a really good connection. I didn't even connect those things too, but yeah, I was actually hoping that too. I was like, maybe she's gonna actually like add more Black women to the store, but.
I was like, Ruby about to put everybody on, but that was not the case. That was not the case.
I did enjoy where she actually got to know. I think like you tweeted it where she actually finally had some peace and was able to just like read the paper in the park and stuff. It was just like the simple things that she wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Yeah, because William said that too. Why didn't you take any of the money?
Whiteness is a currency.
For what? I didn't need anything. I just wanted to just exist. Like, can you imagine just like, and I know things are bad now, but just I'm trying to think back to then where you could walk down the street and be arrested, right? But there are no cell phones. There are nobody championing for your rights. There's nobody that's going to say your name. There's nobody that's probably going to look for you really hard. And that just be the end. Just because somebody felt like being a jackass that day. And she just got to be able to, she was just able to not worry about that at all. That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is like what you see in the 1950 shows. Everybody at the soda and malt shop just handing out ice cream cones, just chilling. And like that's just life. But then like it's such a different reality for Black people, and that's crazy that she got to experience that like while in white skin. So yeah, that was crazy. So
I wonder if it's cheapened though, because she got to experience it, and that's great. But she still wasn't herself. You know what I mean? Like she got the experience in the mental part of it, the emotional feeling, but there's still a part of her that understands that's not something she can ever experience as Ruby.
I was going to say she won't be able to benefit from any of those things.
Yeah,
like, in actuality.
Yeah, it's almost like because it's so simple. She didn't do anything. She wasn't bothering anybody. She didn't go in anybody's store. She didn't do anything but sit and be. And knowing that she can't do that, I wonder if it seems like it'll hurt more. Almost like somebody giving you something and they're like, you can never have this, right?
Yeah.
You can experience it right now just so you'll know what it feels like, but you'll never have it.
I would have had to like shake the table a little bit. Like I would have like just have random conversation like, hey man, Elvis trash, right? Like I would have done stuff like that.
If I was a woman, remember that though.
Huh?
Yeah, you're still a woman. You're still a woman.
Okay.
You can get your ass beat.
Still a woman. Yeah,
okay, true.
Now,
true.
Christina,
you see how they acted when she was dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they almost had a come apart when she was dancing. It's like, ooh,
I think that was a good point, though, like, too, of the conversation that, like, white women can do a lot of things. If Black women do it, it's condemned, but if white women do it, it's celebrated. I think that's what the point was being made there.
Right.
And even like, wow, you're I'm not gonna make the same comment, but what I'm thinking about, like, that still happens today with white women picking up like white women's hairstyles and features and stuff, and like it's celebrated on white women, but Black women can't get hired if they wear those hairstyles.
I'm gonna say this and just take it for what it is. White women, chill with the lip plumpers, please.
Oh yeah, they're ridiculous.
Just like not so much. Like
what gets me is when it's like white women on Twitter.
And they don't go no more. Don't keep going.
It's when white women on Twitter are accusing like Black women and women of color of using plumpers. I was like, they're love.
Look,
oh my God, what kind of?
There was a time where my lips were like 75% of my face. So yeah, definitely. But no, like before like it even came out their mouth, I was like, I know where they're going with this. I was like, somebody gonna say, "Hey, let's go to the black club once they see her dance." I was like, sure enough. But I wanted to ask you too if you picked up on like something very clever they did, and this show tosses like a lot of clever things out. They played Tutti Frutti, the white version. And then you hear the Little Richard version, and that happened a lot back in the day. There would be white covers of black music, and they get all the credit, but the black artists don't. And Little Richard, before he passed, he was like very vocal about that. He was like,
Very vocal.
I'm like 10 times better than these white boys, but they get all the credit. So I'm glad that they tossed that in too. That was a nice little trick that they added there.
Yeah, as long as they don't the music. Like you said, I don't ever want to hear Bodak Yellow again.
Never want to hear Bodak Yellow.
I just like it just took a whole new meaning.
It was perfect though. It
was cool. It was cool.
They had 2 Cardi B songs this whole episode.
We sure did.
Yeah, I was like, that's some Cardi B love, but it was perfect. Both were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was like balled up like this watching that scene. I was like, no, I had to look away. That was
I wasn't expecting it. I thought he was gonna kill him. But not killing them it's almost like the that episode. I mean the thing from The Help when she gave her the pie, because now you know it's been done to you and you can't do anything about it without embarrassing yourself.
Exactly.
So now you just have to live with it.
And how did he even like say that it's like, oh, this white woman turned into
and nobody's gonna believe him. Who's gonna believe him?
But then he also would have to say, like he's married, and he'd have to say, I was about to have sex with one of my employees.
Yeah, I'm in here with a belt around my neck and my pants down to my ankles.
And
you a wild boy.
Oh, an extra.
She's gonna go to the doctor though, right? Like that's gonna require some help.
Surgery.
So what's he gonna say?
Oh my gosh.
Like, what's
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's let him worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And also, I'm ignoring AJ's comment because that was not the like the act itself. I'm not passing judgment on. It was I just hate seeing spit in shows. So, but yeah, what I'm talking about.
We got a lot of HBO.
Like you said, another HBO scene.
Yeah,
got him in there. I will say, I wasn't. Like I don't care if people call me a prude. Again, I'm okay with sex scenes in whatever, but like when they get gratuitous, it's annoying. I don't think either of those were gratuitous. I say it all the time just because it's HBO. But I was actually okay with seeing the difference in Leti and Atticus versus their first encounter.
Mm-hmm. And that to me seemed a lot more like natural, hopefully a lot more pleasant and less rough. Because I was like, "Oh, girl, I know it's gonna be hard for you to maybe sit down a little bit all night."
Yeah, but it was
but
it was still after something traumatic again, which is becoming a theme for them.
I don't like that. I noticed that too. I don't like that.
But I mean, it's comfort, She had to comfort him.
It's also not as gratuitous as Game of Thrones was. Hopefully, we don't cross that line.
Nothing can be worse than Spartacus, so just no.
That's true.
But no, D, you raise a good point because I too hate sex scenes when they're just gratuitous. But both of these like actually reveal a lot about the characters that were partaking in the situation. Like we learned a lot about Montrose with how he was interacting with Sam, and then we learned a lot more about Atticus and Leti. And like you said, Courtney, like this seemed way more natural, and you could tell that it was because the first time, like he was just coming out of a place of like, okay, let me like assert my
claim,
let me claim my woman, but
put my name on it.
Yeah, right. But I just thought about that scene from Boomerang. Sorry. But yeah, but yeah, you could tell this came from a place of like just caring for her. So yeah, that does show a lot. So yeah.
I will say, as far as Montrose was saying, y'all, I'm not gonna break it down, but it showed, like you said, that he did have, I want to say, something for Sammy, because he could have just stopped after he got his release. but he didn't. You know, he wanted to make sure that Sammy got something out of it too. So that just shows that
That's
there's
a meaningful relationship.
Yeah.
Because he easily could have just, you know, left the money on the nightstand and walked out. But I
Mhm.
was happy that he did.
Okay, this is some feelings going on.
Because he was still there too. He stayed there. He could have, you know, even after that, he could have just gone back. So he could have gone home, but he stayed even after it, and he let Sammy dress his wounds and take care of him. It's like he just allowed himself to be loved and taken care of by Sammy, and that's beautiful in a way because it doesn't seem like he's had that before.
Nah,
you know.
He still deserved to have his ass beat though for what he did with the, you know.
Why was Atticus wanting to find pictures that Leti took
of the scrolls?
Of the scrolls,
okay.
yeah, the pages,
the pages, Atticus's pages, because I mean it makes sense. It's, you know, they didn't have a copier,
yeah.
So that's as close as they.
That went by me, and I was like, "What is it? It's like at first I was like, is Montrose possessed or something? Why are you trying to?" Because I still was associating the photos with the because I was like, we're past that, but now I get it.
Do you think that that Atticus knew immediately that he had killed Yahima? Because he knows, like he made it clear that he knows.
He knew.
So that's why he freaked out.
Yeah.
I thought he was upset about the pages. I didn't realize that I knew he was upset about it, but I didn't realize that anger was also because he knew that Montrose had killed Yahima, and that helps.
I think now I kind of sad again. Like, I think this point was made in the group chat that it was, you know, the killing of an indigenous body, and it's not more of like you just killed this person again. It was more of like, oh, you killed my means to an end. I think this isn't a perfect person, but still, like that still hurts.
Yeah, and Leti was broken up about it too.
Yeah,
she was very upset, but I like the fact that she like I said, every episode she reads them for filth, even if it's not like just straight out, you know, bad. It's just she makes them see themselves. She did that this episode when Atticus was saying, you know, it's not evil, it's just we're trying to get something on our side to protect us. And she said, but look what your dad did to protect you. So it's like it's still making him think, like, you're right, this is not evil, this is not what we do with it is what matters, but what are you going to do with it? You need to know what you're going to do with it, because again, like you said, going back to Ruby, what did Ruby do with it? Even though she had good intentions, she became a bully, and she may not have wanted to, but she did. So, you know, you have to keep that, I guess, in mind, that this power is going to come with great power.
Power is corruptible. Power will corrupt you. Like, everyone will always be like, has these. I think the people that go into politics have the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be different. And a lot of times you don't end up. You end up the same as everybody else.
Yeah, because you're trying to please everybody.
Shout out to Smeagol, but I do have you raise a good point, and I do want to circle that back around to our second poll question about whether or not Montrose is actually helping. And I do think he's in a weird way, this is him showing his love for Atticus by trying to protect him, because when he burned the pages in that previous episode, he was drinking, he was crying, he was freaking out, and this episode he was like solemnly sitting in the chair, just like still, like you could see the regret on his face. And I think Atticus read that. So yeah, I do think he's trying to protect Atticus by doing this, and yeah, that's the only way he knows. Like it's and I think that's why some people are reading it as him just trying to, like, maybe he's possessed or maybe he's working for somebody. No, I seriously think he's trying to help Atticus, but the means in which he's doing so, they look so weird that of course they're coming off as a different way. But I do think his delivery is whack.
Exactly. I think too, and we have to go back to the fact that he's probably had a very abusive upbringing. Communication skills probably aren't all there.
Probably accurate, yes.
Everyone needs. This is me in every TV show. Everyone needs therapy.
But Atticus said the same thing. Atticus even said that to Leti. He was trying to protect me. Like, so it's crazy that he knows that, even with the abuse and everything else, there's a part of him that, even if it wasn't true, that wants to believe that he's doing this for me. You know what I mean? Like we think at this point, we hope, we're praying that Montrose is doing this to protect Atticus, because that's what we want. And that's the same thing that Atticus wants. But we truly don't know. Like, we really don't know what Montrose is doing. He could very well be trying to sabotage the whole thing. But there's a part in all of us that wants him to be doing this to protect his son, because he loves his son, because this is your child, even if it's not, you know what I mean? It's your family.
Right.
Even if it's your family. Right. And Atticus is the same thing, because no matter how much animosity or anger that Atticus has, there's still the child inside of him that wants his father. Right. And I don't think that's ever going to go. I don't think it ever goes away for any of us. Like, you might, for whatever reason, hate your parents. And some people have reason to hate their parents. But there, I think, is always going to be a part of you that longs for them, because they are you. You are a part of them. They are a part of you. And I think that's what it is. I hope, though, like I said, I really, really, really hope, I'm praying that Montrose is just going about it all wrong. I hope it's the delivery and not the action itself.
Yes, I do think his delivery is whack. His stance is whack. But no,
whack. Me.
So but if we are to believe that Montrose is protecting Atticus, let's get into what he could possibly be protecting Atticus from, because last week we asked basically what's going on with that lodge in Chicago and who's that in the closet. That's not a phrase for like Montrose. That's the person literally in the closet. Who's that in the closet? So we get answers to that. And I wanted to ask if I misheard something. Did they say Hiram's pages or Horatio's pages?
Hiram's.
Hiram. I think he said Hiram.
I'm almost certain.
I thought he said Hiram's too, because the pages.
I was kind of.
Did anyone else hear it? Comment if we're all very wrong and we need to check our hearing.
Yeah, please comment on that, because that changes things, because the pages we retrieved from Yahima, they were Horatio's pages, right? And if Hiram has a set of pages.
Does Hiram have pages though? But I want to add, it appears that what's the captain's name? Do y'all know his name? It appears that he has taken over Hiram's work, maybe, because did you see? It's like he's pulling a Buffalo Bill. It's weird.
Yeah. Who was the guy in the closet? They treated that so casually, and I'm just like,
they were really like, I want to add this. Helen says that men stay justifying other men's trash, which is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is true, and that's kind of like what Tick is doing, even though it's happening to him. He's justifying it.
Yes. We got two comments about.
That's what I'm saying. His body was like
the discolored body. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Buffalo Bill or Frankenstein almost, and it makes sense that that's what they were doing with the black bodies that they stole at his house. Mm-hmm. That plus whatever potion Christina has now.
That's true.
Maybe she learned that from Hiram.
Something to do with the kid that's in the closet?
Maybe. That's why Christina wants that orrery so bad. Maybe that's why she wants that orrery from Hiram's house, because she got that, like, that potion makes her another person. And she got that, I guess, from Hiram. So if Hiram can do more of that, that is maybe why she wants so badly in that house.
But okay, there's something the sheriff says about the man in the closet, something to the effect of
I missed it.
He's dead. He's dead. Something the dead always do. The dead always do. Yeah. So it almost is like some type of Frankenstein thing going on, because
but think about it. Christina said that William was shot in the back and thrown in the river, and she saved him.
That's
whatever Christina did for William, like I'm saying, I think Hiram's all over all of that, which would be another reason why the sheriff is mad that she's there.
Right.
So that would also explain why Hiram again was experimenting on black bodies and possibly explain the baby head on the basketball player's body, that he was experimenting with transplanting body parts.
Mhm.
And again, they were just using black people as test subjects. So
that's my thing. I'm thinking that Christina got the spell or whatever that potion is from Hiram or from his research or from something to do with Hiram. And or William did.
does that mean that who was who Christina was once a person, then who is the white woman that Ruby is?
I don't know.
That means she has to be somebody too.
That has to be a woman, like,
Or
because
like they just said, maybe she's in the basement.
Because like when I saw like the bloodied white Ruby, I guess I'm gonna say, because I can't remember what her white name was. I was thinking, I was like,
Hillary.
Hillary. I was like, maybe they're like possessing. She has her possessing. I didn't actually think it would be like an actual metamorphosis thing. I was like, maybe like they're possessing the bodies. I don't know.
Valise, to answer your question, she said, did her dad know she was William? He did. William, if you remember when they had the dinner of whatever piece of internal organ that they pulled out of Samuel, William is the one that guided them into the room. So they know William exists as a person. And I'm assuming Samuel knew.
The white lady was the one was that the same person?
Whoa.
That was her. I knew she looked familiar. That was her.
That was her.
That is a really good catch.
I knew that was her.
That is the good. That's a great catch.
The white woman is the one that had the dogs in the second episode. That was like, that said, my dogs aren't the one that needed a leash. The one that Letitia hit. Okay, thanks, V.
Yeah. You need like a big props for catching that, because I never would have caught that.
Okay, this was for me, but I was just like, I didn't care enough to look her up.
Like, why is it this specific woman that's like, let's be honest, like less attractive than Ruby, older than Ruby? I was like, are they just trying to make a point that like you can be a more mediocre if you're white?
Yes.
That's what I was like, is that the point? I don't want to be rude to the actress because like she's a lot less attractive than Ruby, like because like Ruby's gorgeous. I was like, why are they playing this like middle-aged average white lady?
But I think they also wanted her to present as not as attractive. That's why they made her look so like. That's why she was so mean in that episode, and she was so like dirty and was out in the dungeon with the dogs. I think they wanted her to be less presentable. For that.
She was dressed up in this episode. I'm not calling her ugly. I'm just saying she's not as good looking as Ruby, the actress. And I feel like I'm being mean towards the actresses, but it is what it is. I was like, are they?
What it is. Some people have very fortunate faces and others do not.
Yeah. It is true. Okay, yeah. I mean, whatever, it is true.
How did I not catch that? Like, my mind's still blown. Sorry, but no, good catch.
I feel dumb. I feel stupid dumb.
You catch me.
Yeah.
We're doing other stuff. Again, because now that you see her in your mind, you're like, oh shit, that is her. It's absolutely her.
Everything makes sense.
I'm glad y'all asked because I just
Hillary was the dog lady.
Yeah, she was the dog lady. Yeah.
Yeah, the dog lady.
Good thing
that makes sense. Again, it makes sense too because William and Christina had access to her because they were kind of telling her to send them to take them to the house and all this stuff, and she couldn't stand them, but she was still
here's my thing. They can do that with any body that they have that's died.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
They might be using that for the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it looks like it. Because at this point we've decided that William is dead, right? Like the actual William.
Also, our man Courtney B. Vance is supposed to be back for 3 more episodes this season. Just tossing that out.
Taking a small break from Big Bang.
He's like, sorry, baby, I gotta go back to work.
Sorry, let me give you a little break. Since you gotta go to work, I guess I'll go to work.
AJ points out that the potion was blood colored. I did notice that because I've been thinking about the whole vampire part of it too. So yeah, this is getting weird. And I know that's weird to say that it's getting weird, but it is.
So wait a second. Why is that's what I was thinking. I was like, it might. I was kind of like, because I don't know if I'm fully on board. Like, they could try to be posed to be Montrose, but we also have that whole storyline with him and Sammy. So I'm like, would they be doing that if it wasn't actually Montrose?
If they have,
I mean, to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
But I want to believe that.
And that makes it less cute and happy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I want to believe that Sammy and Montrose's relationship has been going on for like a while now. Like, so and I do know that Montrose has been like in the wind for a while before the show started. So that means that they had to have had a relationship before Montrose, dipped out. So I do think
Montrose though. Who's the person?
Yeah, so I don't know if they would know about Sammy and Montrose to be able to kind of
yeah.
But why wouldn't they? They could if they had a plan. They could very well follow them around.
They had.
That's where Tree comes in, because Tree knew about Sammy and Montrose.
What if Tree?
Tree could either be one of the people, or he is Christina's informant. Because that would explain how he has the intel on Sammy and Montrose.
Yeah, I'm thinking that could be the.
But who is the person? Because there still has to be a person inside the suit. So who's in the Montrose suit?
Could be the sheriff.
But then if we accept that, we have to accept that Montrose is dead.
Yeah, which he could be, because he was. How long was he there?
A long time.
Because they had him like buried in the cellar, right, or in the silo.
Yeah.
Okay, let's back up. Why was Montrose being held in the first place?
Wasn't not to Lorge or Atticus? Yeah.
Huh.
He dug out. I give you that he did, but he was in there. They had him trapped.
You know what? It may not be I actually, because here's the thing. Remember, they have to have time to drink the vials, and if someone was Montrose, they would have had a supply of vials, or they would have gotten exposed.
Montrose drinks all the time, though, so that wouldn't be surprising to have him drink whatever the potion is.
Stop this,
Helen.
Stop trying to make sense out of it.
Enough. But I'm saying Montrose drinks all the time, so him drinking whatever the potion is, he could have it stashed wherever. In a flask.
And see, this is why I can't get with that, because this is something only Montrose know. They referenced the Count of Monte Cristo before he dug out, so that's only something Montrose would know.
Look, if nobody else is somebody else, I'm okay with that. We already got William and Christina. That's fine.
I think we're gonna have that. I think it's Tree. I don't think it's gonna be someone as like big as Montrose. I think it's.
I just think Tree is COINTELPRO. I think Tree is like working for like the man. So I don't think
iteration in this.
It can't be Tree, because we've seen Tree and Montrose together.
No. I'm not saying Tree is like somebody is being Tree. I'm saying I think Tree is just. Yeah, I think Tree is just.
I think he's working with or for Christina. I really do. I do. Because he just keeps popping up for like almost no reason. I mean, for a reason to further the story and to get Atticus information.
At least we didn't have to see him this episode. I was happy seeing Montrose be himself and happy. And accepting himself. That gave me warm and fuzzy feelings.
I hope he's him. I hope he's Montrose.
Me too. That will take away everything from this episode, and it'll make me sad.
Yeah, and the smells like. See, the only reason I'm thinking Montrose is even possibly possessed is because of the whole smells like Tulsa, because his voice was distorted.
I need to rewatch that.
Like, it sounded like it was him and someone else speaking at the same time saying smells like.
I think your TV was just crackling there, because I ain't hear that.
What if it was George?
I hope not.
Because isn't he?
George want to burn the pages.
Yeah, George
burn the book.
Yeah, I don't think George would have burned the pages.
Maybe we.
All right. So before we close out, we're approaching our time. D, you got to bring us in on this one. So, obviously, Atticus deciphered a message. He then goes to call someone. Like, hurriedly goes to call someone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, like I've said, just to get y'all a refresh, Gia came in the very first episode. Gia was the one who came down from the spaceship. Right? And when they had the mindfuck, Gia was the one that Atticus killed. And he was trying very hard not to kill her. He was like, I don't want to, whatever. But he had to kill her. And we're assuming that when he got to Montrose's house the very first time, while Montrose was still in Boston, were they? No, in whatever that county was. What was the county where they traveled to the first time?
I don't remember.
Wherever the mansion was.
Artem.
Yeah, Artem.
Yeah.
Montrose was still on Artem. When Atticus went to his house, he called somebody. And it was it had to be her because he said it again in this episode. He called Gia and she said, he didn't say anything at first. And she was like, Atticus, she said, you went home, didn't you? You shouldn't have. And he abruptly hung up the phone. Like he was afraid. Then, yeah, you're right. Devon County was the name. Artem was the city.
Okay. Yeah,
when he was there today, after he figured out some language from the pages, he deciphered 3 letters that said DIE. So that freaked him out. And I'm gonna ask you this before I go into it. Were those the letters from his ring?
I think so.
I think so.
So he thought they were his initials, but they were actually DIE, which of course we know spells die. And he immediately went to call Gia again and asked, what are you? Now, I want to add to the point where, I don't know if y'all remember this, but when they went to get, when they met Yahima the first time, Montrose said, what are you? But when Atticus spoke to her, he said, who are you? Mm-hmm. But when Atticus talked to Jaya on the phone, he said, what are you? Mm-hmm. So it's alluding to the fact that she is, and especially with her coming from the ship, that she is not human. Mm-hmm. Or she is some kind of entity. So I don't know where she's going to come in. I don't know what she's going to do, but I just know, I know she's going to be back some kind of way. I was hoping she wouldn't come in between him and Leti, but they did talk about her. And, Leti was like, well, did you love her? He was like, maybe, I don't know. And it's almost like, not like I love you. Like, I know how I feel about you. And it wasn't that, but it was something.
So let me, I do think, I know AJ may be joking here, but I do think she may be like a direct, like Lovecraft, like entity. Like maybe not Cthulhu. Right?
Are you going to get some kind of Cthulhu here? I feel
like he's been in love with Cthulhu the entire time. But he said, "Oh no, I was serious."
Cthulhu. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like we kind of got like Cthulhu at the very beginning, but I feel like you can't call a show Lovecraft Country unless we get some kind of Cthulhu.
You gotta have Cthulhu. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think she'll be back. What I'm interested in now is, what do y'all think Hippolyta and Diana are gonna find when they go back to?
I think they're gonna. I'm wondering if she's gonna be able to time travel and to see George. I think maybe that's where we see George, and that's where Courtney B. Vance leaves Angela Bassett for a few days, and we can have him act again.
Okay, so quick question: is the orrery with her?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think time travel is about to be involved there.
I mean, because I feel like, I don't know if I'm like making this up in my head, but I feel like there were some scenes where it looks like they're not in the current time period. So I don't know. I think maybe she's. I think maybe. She's.
Oh yeah, and the observatory was referenced this episode. So yeah, I do think that's a clear reference that something is about to happen.
I mean, I feel like, and she's like smart enough. She knows a lot about space and time. So I feel like if anyone can be able to figure out how to use it, it's her.
Yeah, she's got to figure out how to make it work. And once that's done, and she's gonna be, I guess, limitless, right? Mm-hmm. I would think. Do you think, of course, she goes back in time and gets George?
I think she speaks to him.
Or do you think she goes in the future?
I think George is like, I think George is totally the type of person that's like, we can't change the future, the present without the butterfly effect. He's totally going to be that person, upset her, but I think he's going to give her some necessary information. I just don't like. Isn't that such a George thing? It's like, no, I can't. Like, we still have to let things fall the way they fall.
After watching Tenet recently, there's a way to get him back to the future.
So would George do that?
I'm now thinking back.
Like, my real life is Angela Bassett. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's George's future to end over Angela Bassett. So he is good. He is good. Yeah.
I'm just thinking back now to like when they shot Leti, because she died, and there's a part of me that's trying to figure out how she comes back. Like if she died, because William died, right?
What's his face bought her back.
Like, they killed her just to show, like, hey, this is how easily I could kill you. But yeah,
what I'm saying is that a different power that Adam had, because she said, my father will heal him just like he did Leti. So I'm thinking that Christina maybe can't resurrect the dead. She can only do the whole vial of blood body swapping metamorphosis, as she calls it, thing.
Maybe that's why she's trying to get more spells.
Yeah, like she's trying to build
she said good people can't have, like, they learn one at a time. But I think she's at this point. Well, no, I take that back, because the metamorphosis isn't a spell.
That isn't a spell. That's potion. Yeah,
it's potion. The force field or whatever, or the invulnerability. That's her spell. Right. Okay. So what was Adam's? So was it not a spell he used to bring
his spell was
because if it's invulnerability, they could have given that to Leti. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So did he give her invulnerability then, or did he just use it long enough for her to heal?
I think take it back. Yeah, he can use it in portions.
And then take it back. Okay. So like once her body was healed, once the gunshot wound is gone.
And I think they were gonna wait until they were done with Tech to heal George, maybe. But I also think that I'm still of the belief that they knew that George knew too much and were totally fine with letting him die.
Yeah, they're like, if he dies, he dies. Cool.
Has Atticus still not told anybody what happened? That's interesting.
Yeah, but Leti's gonna find out.
That is interesting.
So the close
he didn't even tell the people that were there what happened.
Yeah.
I think he's the type to not tell anybody.
I guess.
Here's the thing. I think that they would be even more hesitant to let him, decode the scrolls if they knew what happened. Because I know I'd be like, fuck no. No.
She's trying, but he's not listening.
Again, Dee, we're always interrupted, right?
Always. Tired of being interrupted.
Tired.
So this
is Ruby done with the potion? If I want to ask you before you go, Ronnie, do y'all think
I wasn't about to go. I was actually about to bring that back around.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but no, because I had two questions I wanted to ask before we departed, and that was actually one. Okay. Basically, I wanted to ask. Ruby had her little, taste of privilege or of whatever. So, does she continue to use this, and will she start actively working against Leti and Atticus? Because she's going to get asked to do something.
That's my thing. It's like, because when they said favor, here's the thing: it works like that. It's going to be like small favors, and it grows.
And then the big favor.
Here's the thing: she already has beef with Leti. She already. So I think she's really like, that's my sister, but it's be like, but look what she did. Because Christina's the one that's causing this problem. Of course, like they willingly fed into it. Christina's the one that gave her the money for the house, knowing that she'd buy the house. And she also fed Ruby into this too. Like Christina seems like very sinister and smart. I think there's got to be something greater brewing.
Does she feel something for William? Because remember, Christina asked her, she's like, if you feel anything for him, you'll do this. To take that thing in the. Does he have some? I mean, he got some game.
That's a good question. She definitely feels lusty for William, but at the same time, she's also now made a connection with Christina, and then Christina So she the secret's out. She knows now. So I don't think she's gonna be thrown off by it. I don't think she's gonna.
I think she did have feelings for William though, because like, look, do you see how upset she was?
She was.
Not like, oh, I feel for, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I mean, they were. Wow. But so I think
demon time.
She looked betrayed at that reveal.
Yeah. William's got that confidence that's appealing.
He's still creepy. I would never. I'm very curious because just we haven't seen Christina's kind of like décolletage type area. I wonder if she has the devil horns too, or is that?
I tried to see too. I'm glad you said that because I was trying to look, but she's always kind of covered.
Or is it only when you're somebody else? Because I'm like, I didn't
see just take his whole body, and those were his scars, so she just took it.
Possibly,
but we have to remember that William is one of them. Because she said that he was supposed to be next in line, but the sheriff murdered him because he wanted the whatever. So I don't know. I don't know. It is weird that they kind of look alike, though. I mean, maybe they don't look alike, and it's just the blonde on blonde.
They look alike. It's the eyes.
They look alike.
Kind of look alike.
Do they look alike?
They kind of do. It's weird.
But I think that shows there's internal strife within the order as well, that the sheriff would do that.
I'm glad they got internal strife.
I'm glad they
implode. I would rather them implode. Yeah. Just break down from the inside.
It's like if the KKK had magic powers. It's essentially this.
Yeah. I'm still trying to understand his that was creepy. The skin,
the Frankenstein
Buffalo Bill thing he's got going on. That was weird.
I think we're gonna get more info soon. How many more episodes do we got left?
5.
We got a lot of time.
5. So we still got to figure out what's going to happen with Hippolyta and the orrery. Because the orrery unlocks. Did it unlock the vaults or did it do something with the spells? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
It can't be the vault because if it unlocked the vault, then Hiram wouldn't have lost his arm trying to get to it. It's got to be spells. Like it's got to be. That's the thing that they're going to use to decipher the pages, I guess. But the pages that were that they got, those were Titus's pages, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Hiram doesn't have pages. He just has spells or potions or something along that line.
I think he has potions, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he's just got like spells and potions, and that is another reason why he didn't need those pages, because if you already have potions and you got spells, you're doing a lot.
Well, I'd tell you what he doesn't have.
Okay, he stole some pages. Okay, so
I'll tell you what he doesn't have though. He doesn't,
but not his own spells. He
doesn't have an arm, but
he don't have an arm.
but yeah,
no, Winthrop is just the house, right? And he just on AJ said who stole the pages, was it Winthrop or was it Hiram? But I think Winthrop is just the name that was on the house. I don't think.
I think
it's implied that people owned that house before Hiram.
Yeah.
I think Hiram was trying to like hoard all the pages for himself. So I think they did say he stole some pages, and obviously he was going after the Horatio pages.
Maybe like what the sheriff is doing now, Hiram was helping with, because remember they were in cahoots together, like he was providing the black people for him to experiment on. So maybe now that
Hiram did.
It's just the sheriff. The sheriff is not in on it himself.
Yeah, the sheriff and Hiram were 100% working together.
So maybe whatever the sheriff is doing, whatever's going on with his torso, that
I'm assuming Hiram did that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess. And now he's trying to do it himself with whoever that is in the closet.
Yeah.
Poor dude.
Which is why he's trying to figure out what the hell Christina's doing there. Because Christina and William have to have some kind of connection. They have to.
They do. I think they do. Yeah.
Do you think they were siblings? That's why they look alike? Her dad is like the dude.
It's possible, meaning because William would have been the heir, but since he's dead, that's why they need Atticus.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that maybe that's her brother, and maybe that's why her dad has so much. I felt resentment.
He does.
It's
Yeah.
like,
So maybe so. Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah, they were twins.
Maybe so.
Yes.
Maybe that should be our next question. Is that were they siblings?
Yeah, so that'll be the next poll question.
I want to know what Ruby's gonna do. If she's gonna
I think she's
stay
gonna be
with
addicted to
Christina.
it. I think that kind of like power is addictive.
It's like a drug. Yeah.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, she's like addicted. She's like on drugs now.
Especially like when she like of course I don't disagree with what she did, but just like the look on her face.
Is she gonna go back to work?
Maybe she's gonna like say something else to it. I mean,
is she gonna go back to work? Could you imagine him having to look at her every day?
Something happens to him and she takes his position.
She could. And then hire a whole bunch of black people.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I really don't know. I do think it's interesting just to kind of parallel or juxtapose that, you know, Leti got all that money and got the house, and she called out Leti for, I thought you said you were gonna get this house to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But now she got that position and she does the same exact thing.
Calling the pot.
And now you're bullying Tamara, like maybe out of like somewhat for like good reason, but not in a good way. And now you're feeding into that white privilege, and she's becoming a white woman. Essentially,
she really is.
She's getting drunk on that white womanhood. I need the extinction button.
That power is really getting to her, I think.
Yeah,
but that's what if you remember, that's what Christina told her. She said he was asking you, what would you do with the ability to do whatever the fuck you wanted to do. And when she thought about that, when Christina said that, the first thing she did was go and sexually assault the dude with a stiletto. Oh God, that was gross. Oh,
that was the time.
Repeatedly, like she. Oh God, that was awful.
Once enough for me. Like once was cool. I was like, okay, I understand once, but now
that's a nice shoe.
But now six times.
You're not gonna. I wouldn't wear that shoe again. But that's a nice shoe. Would you have done it to any other shoe?
She put it back on and walked out. She needed her bloody shoes.
Yeah, I didn't wear no blood on my shoes.
Too much.
But yeah,
okay.
I
want to ask a question.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
But no, you go first. I
just want to ask, which has been your favorite episode so far?
Still the second.
So the second one? I think mine is between the second and the third one.
I like the third one the best.
Yeah.
I think the third one was my favorite. The third one was the party and
okay. I'm leaning.
The third one had so much meaning to it. Yeah.
I'm leaning third. Yeah.
Bye, AJ. Where do we block?
I got blood on my...
We've got to block
But no, AJ's been doing this all episode. That's why I haven't been able to.
That's why if like you see us laughing at moments we shouldn't be laughing when someone else is talking, it's because of AJ.
Yeah. But one last question. We haven't brought it up yet. And so Atticus has a dream, I guess, about Hannah. Did anybody catch what she said?
She said something.
She was mouthing something, and I could make out 2 words.
I personally, I don't know. I think that's a warning as to like. I think it's pretty much a warning. Atticus is getting too much dip on his chip.
Yeah.
With this, yeah.
So I can make out.
He's gonna become like Adam in this quest. Is what I'm thinking, because it wasn't everyone else caught fire, and maybe he's getting a warning that he's losing his way, and he's like leaning into too much to that part.
So I can make out 2 words that she said. Like she said, save them. I don't know if she said you can't save them or you need to save them, but she said save them.
Yeah, I didn't make that out at all. I thought she said Titus. So I know nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think it was meant for us to say because it didn't show up.
There were no captions, no subtitles or anything. So if you're still watching with us, if you know what she said, please tweet us. Yeah. If you could read lips, please let us know what she said. Like I said, it seems like she's
French for the boys, and now we need someone who can read lips.
And now we need a lip reader. Yeah.
You think she said save him? Him being who?
No, I think she said save them.
Oh, them.
Maybe it's Montrose and Leti.
Them. I don't know.
But once again, I could be wrong. I'm not the best lip reader. So
does anyone ask me to save a white supremacist, I might act like I'm deaf.
Yeah.
Gia, she's either gonna show up because she materializes there, or what? Because I can't imagine them going to South Korea. I mean, unless they pick another elevator.
I think she's gonna show up.
It's gonna be interesting to see. All of this stuff is wrapped up together. That's crazy.
She's gonna show up because I'm on IMDb right now. She's gonna show up. Also, interesting enough. Sorry, I was on there looking for something else, but interesting enough.
Yeah, right, sure.
No, seriously, interesting enough. Our next episode does not have an episode description yet, so that's interesting.
I haven't watched the preview.
I haven't either.
I'm doing it on purpose now because I don't want it to affect my thoughts on before we do the review, because I feel like it almost spoils things in a way. So I'm gonna make that a habit from going forward.
What's the episode title for next week?
I am.
That's it.
I feel like that's some Hippolyta type word.
I am.
Hippolyta, please. I want that.
I am. Okay. I
want to see Hippolyta be great.
Yeah, me too.
That's all I want.
What?
I'm ready to stand Hippolyta. I want to see her. I mean, I'm ready to see her be great.
I'm just trying to think of where D is going to come in, but maybe they're just going to be a tag team.
Maybe so.
I was just about to say one of Nas's worst albums, and AJ beat me to it. But anyway,
I know.
But no. Thanks for watching. As you see, we all have
episode 6 is the next episode.
That's what I said.
It is not. I am is episode 7.
Oh shit. Hold on.
And he gave us kind of spoiled us too, and didn't even do it in the correct. No,
it doesn't have a title. Wait, does it have a title?
It has a title.
Oh, it's called Meet Me.
That's why I didn't have a description.
Oh, okay.
What's it called?
The first time I've messed up.
The first time?
Meet me and shh. No, they are going to South Korea. They are going to South Korea next episode. Thank you for supporting me. But yeah, I don't think that's support. But yeah, but no, they are going to South Korea next episode because it's called Meet Me in Daegu.
Maybe like flashback type style.
It could be.
I don't see them being able to go yet. But probably AJ.
Looking at the cast, it might be a flashback.
Okay.
Or
just backstory.
Or
we gotta wrap this up.
They just brought Gia up to just leave us hanging. Like she's got to show up. But how long can they keep us in Hippolyta? And
I just want to see some Hippolyta. Maybe they're sending it to the last episode.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe they're saving it for the last episode because that's what everyone wants to see.
They might be. Yeah.
We're all here for Hippolyta.
Indeed. Don't forget D.
Not you though, but before I was interrupted, I was about to plug our lovely t-shirts, and you can have one of these by going to the kidswearcrowns.com, clicking on that merch button and just purchasing one. We have hoodies, we have onesies for your baby, we have bags, we don't have bloody shoes yet. We're working on those.
No, we're not.
Okay. We need glasses.
Apparently we aren't, but yeah, thanks for watching. Once again, our one of our main questions going into next week, we want to know what Hannah said. We'll probably have to go back and rewatch that. If you caught it, please let us know.
Add us
Because,
on Twitter so we can see
add
it.
us on Twitter. Yeah.
Helen, your birthday is not coming up, but I got you. Her birthday is in December.
I mean, technically, you know what? The way this year is going, it might as well be next
Might
week.
as well
Might as
be.
well be.
Might as well be next week.
But we got you, bro. We got you.
Yeah.
Call me and let me know what color you want.
So yeah, closing remarks, people.
I did enjoy this episode. I've enjoyed all of the episodes so far. I think this one was exceptionally weird, to be honest, with just all of the strange things that occurred. Like when she came out of the body the second time, the first time it was kind of weird because you just kind of saw William slit her from breast to another opening, and she just came out of the skin. But like to see her the second time come out of it and kind of like explode out of it, and it was just a lot.
And just the peeling off, I'm just like, I never, and I'm not one to get grossed out very easily. My mom's a wound care nurse, and I've always learned way more than I ever should have in my life. It's just, it wasn't scary. It was disturbing.
Yeah, it was still kind of like symbolic of her being herself. Like she said with the butterfly.
She said she felt like she was coming undone.
Exactly, and that was
maybe that'll represent her psyche. Her psyche's gonna come undone too, trying to be this white woman a little bit too much.
That's a lie. You're assuming a whole nother identity.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Completely different than what you are. So yeah, closing remarks. I enjoyed the episode. I'm looking forward to the rest. I do want to see where Gia comes in because I think she's going to be important, and I think Leti's going to continue to be who she is, which is just keeping them kind of sane. She's kind of their totem, if you will.
Yeah, she's
kind of keeps them from going off the deep end. So
where would they be without a woman?
Montrose would be dead for sure.
Yeah.
Atticus would have killed him.
Yeah.
I don't think he could stop. I think he was gone. And just like you said, I imagined it a bunch of times, even when I was a little boy. And I think that came out, and he wouldn't have stopped. Not even necessarily trying to kill him, just not being able to stop himself, Just
seeing red, yeah. I don't think
because he killed her. Like it's tough though. Because it's like you can tell that Atticus and Yahima had some kind of bond when they were speaking to each other. So it probably hurt more than it seemed.
I thought about that. Maybe he felt bad because who was his, I forget the name, was his ancestor. So he's like trying to rectify what's going on. And his actions led to her death anyway. So.
Yeah, and it's the oppressed becoming the oppressor. It's the same thing with that power because Montrose became, for lack of better words, the white person in that situation and murdered her just because he could.
An indigenous person, yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
He was propagating hate, but
so you can say propagate.
I just had to toss that in, but
because AJ's in the chat.
Yeah, I think that's all that we have for this week. Thanks for watching as always.
Go to thekidswearcrowns.com.
Please do. We do this. Yeah.
We need sponsors.
Yeah, we'll
shut up.
We'll toss this lovely graphic on so you could see all the places where you need to follow us. Until next week.
Subscribe to our YouTube page.
Please.
We need more subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 and we're like what, 109?
We're getting there.
I will track down every single one of you. If you have a YouTube,
we will find you.
I will find you. And listen, if you don't have a YouTube channel, you better make one. Make multiple.
We will take your phone out your hand and subscribe to our YouTube page for you. So, with that said, I'm Ron. With me, I have Courtney and I have D. And we are out.
Bye.